Team No Life. This is your boy Kripparrian. We got our boy Krippy in the channel. We're all bros here. And we heard that you want to do some world first in Diablo 3, but that may be difficult because I think you might have underestimated the competition
but yeah, I wanted to talk about that,
crafting
but
all these last couple months. So
I don't know how
we've been trying to cause some drama, so I'll get your attention, and hopefully we succeed with that. So
we heard you're doing the Diablo 3 thing after we announced the Diablo 3 thing. I mean, we've been doing the Diablo 3 thing for months. You know, I mean, we got beta accounts as soon as we could. I mean, we were like renting beta accounts with D2J and Speed Gold just so we could play, and we played all we could. We practiced. I mean, we were practicing for so many months, doing the theory craft and the spreadsheets. We announced that we were doing the Diablo 3 thing, and 2 days later, you announced you were doing the Diablo 3 thing.
Well, the thing is, like, I did announce the Diablo 3 thing, like, I think 2 months ago as well, but it was very, on the side, because the thing is that if you make a big announcement, like world first too early, people don't care. So I made the announcement now, although I was planning to try it out a lot sooner. And like the reason why, yeah, I got a lot of people spamming messages. I got spammed by people saying, like, talking about you, and I'm like, is this some kind of elaborated troll? What is going on? Like, also on the chat and stuff. So yeah, like you have,
True, yeah.
at least you did a good job on getting my attention. And the reason why, like, I'm interested in talking is because yeah, people are really convinced that you're gonna be world first. And the thing is that, like, of course I always know about RNG. You can never be completely sure about getting a record. There's always stuff that can pop up, like whether it's connection problems or whether it's exploits or glitches or whatever. But like, I was just interested since I heard you're going to stream your entire event from the start, right?
Yep, that's right.
So basically, I was wondering, yeah, like how confident are you that you're gonna get world first?
Well, we're not going for world first level 60 like you are. We're going, like, I think with all the time zone differences that the game is being released under and all the possible exploits and that kind of stuff, like leveling wise, I think it's like you said, 70%. I'm sure, you know, you just put a number out there so we can talk about it, but you know, I think the chance that someone gets it by exploiting something is like way above like the remaining 30% that you left in there, you know. So
Yeah.
like, it's a new game and there's going to be like millions of people playing. I think Blizzard's top priority is going to be like server stability and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be very difficult for them to get to all the exploits, all the bugs in the game. So that plus the time differences, everything involved, I don't think it's realistic to set a goal for level 60. Our goal is to pace ourselves. I don't want us to get burned out. I think progression for Inferno is going to be 2-3 weeks. I think they're going to make the game like as hard as they possibly can, using what they've learned from World of Warcraft and what players can overcome. And because of that, we want to pace ourselves. I don't want to go like 30 hours the first day because we're going to be burned out like much sooner than we would otherwise. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like at most 24 hours. If by that time we're close to 60 and no one else hits 60 by that time that we know of, you know, maybe we'll play a few more hours. But I mean, our goal is to get world first Inferno down, and we think it's realistic because we see Diablo 3 an information game, and we're at the point where there's nothing left to learn. I mean, it sounds like a very ridiculous thing to say, but I mean, we've had like 5 people working all cylinders for months to get all the information on there. We got a spreadsheet. We like programmed calculators to see if our specs actually function. I mean, we got everything down. And
What do you mean with program calculators?
Yeah, like we made programs that would calculate resource management and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I see. Out of curiosity, like this is not some elaborated troll or something.
No.
Like, you guys are really.
You never watch my videos? I made the hunter videos in World of Warcraft, man. I got 23k subs, and I mean, I just recently got partnered with Curse like a month ago. So those are all 23,000 bros that just happen to stop by my YouTube channel. You know, never did the boxer box, never did any of that. So a lot of people like my stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
I mean, I think I've been subscribed to you from your first video, from the Berserks mode.
Yeah.
I like that stuff a lot more than the recent stuff, but I mean, you've been doing some really good stuff. I've like watched everyone I can, so.
I see. So like you think that that you have an edge over everyone else when it comes to downing Inferno.
We have an information edge, and we have players who can use that information.
And like
because we're hunted for information. We've been hunting for months.
and that like
we've seen very few people who are thinking the same way we are about this game, and most people think it's going to be like Diablo 2, where you win by being tenacious, but we think we're going to win by researching and figuring everything out. We think it's a game like World of Warcraft. Everything that we see, it points to it being like a knowledge game.
okay, and like let me like am I allowed to ask you a few questions? I'm taking the time to call you to check out, like to get some kind of sneak peeks. Like I wonder.
We'll do the pro tips for the Athene.
Yeah, pro tips for Athene. Come on,
We need to
bring it on. Like because I'll be really honest. Like I'm a statistical machine when it comes to world first and stuff, and I've done a lot of fucking research myself as well. But of course, like there is only so much information I have access to. Do you guys have information or access to information that nobody else has?
We don't have any means that anyone else wouldn't have.
So
I think that's what you're asking.
So basically, it's not like you have a like an insider at Blizzard giving you access to the actual content.
No. Basically, we have a spreadsheet that has like 15 pages on it, and it's everything about everything of the game. That's what we have. And everything we find out about the game that we didn't know about, we just organize it in a way so everyone can understand it on the team, and we know what's going on.
So
that's our strength right now. And I mean, the guys on the team, they're like world-class WoW raiders. So it's people who know how to adapt to information, to new boss mechanics.
So like let me ask you a question. I mean, like I've been playing Diablo. I have like I've tried it out. Like how much of the like, because you're talking about like encounters and stuff, isn't it just a hack and slash game and that's it?
No. You can check out our video. We did Skeleton King with naked level 1s, 4-player, yesterday. It took 43 minutes to kill it.
So like just out of curiosity, I'm just thinking out loud here. When you're playing, and you're doing all those calculations and stuff, and you're just using the same information that anyone else has access to, like the information.
We don't have any inside source. We don't have any inside access. We have none of that. We have everyone's efforts for months.
How many people are involved in this?
Our team is a group of 4, so we're going to format it, and then we have Krippy, who's actually in the call right now, and he's going to play a solo character. He's playing a monk, so if anyone has any kind of instability, we can get him in the group. But we think 4 players is the way to do it, and we want to have a consistent format group.
Okay, and so like let me just check out here some. I'm going to ask you a few questions. How long will it take to hit level 60?
No real way to know. Probably the lowest estimate we have is like 10-15 hours.
What?
I mean, there's really no way to know.
I think it's 40 hours.
Based on what?
Based on the way that experience increases and the difficulties increasing.
Yeah, the difficulty is increasing, but we don't really know how much.
The thing is though, like what's gonna happen is because I played the game at Gamescom, and it was actually like a downed one version. Like it was not the beta, it was another version, and the game was really hard. I think that once you start going higher in content, it's gonna be mainly kiting. You will have to kite packs and kill them slowly, and
I just did a hardcore run on a barb with no gear. Just now, killed Skeleton King. We know it's gonna be like that. I mean, we prepared for everything. We're like.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like it's.
Last weeks is like we're crafting on the hardest possible mobs we can imagine. We're like we've got strats for mobs that like one-shot us and run at light speed. So I mean, I don't know. we're just putting down the information game. As far as like how long it's gonna take, the difficulty is relative to how you're going to counter the difficulty. I mean, if you're prepared enough that you know the game enough, it's not going to be as difficult as everyone else. I mean,
Yeah, I know, but like,
yeah.
if you like, there is only so much DPS output, and if if a mob takes like 3 times longer to kill, it's gonna go 3 times slower to level, right?
Sure, but I mean, it's not like killing mobs. The game is more dynamic than that. Like, the run I just did, I'm gonna bring up an example because I took forever to kill mobs. I was even starting weapon to kill Skeleton King. So what happened was like, I would kill the fat dudes because they would explode. If you got the clever use of game mechanics down, you won't necessarily have to grind mobs. I mean, that stuff's probably gonna scale as well. So the fat dudes blowing up, because they got to do more damage. You got those things. You got the wall chandeliers. You can stack that stuff. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of variabilities that, I mean, it comes to the point where I don't even know if it's worth guessing how long it'll take to 60. Because I mean,
I think 10 to 15 hours is really a very optimistic a very optimistic how do you say it? What's the word? A very optimistic view on it. I think it's gonna take more than a day.
It could.
And like, so you guys are gonna live stream everything. What comp are you gonna run?
We're running everyone minus Demon Hunter. No Demon Hunter.
Okay, yeah. That is actually the most common build. So basically,
We've promoted that build for like a couple of weeks now, so I don't know if the commonality is based off anything of that, but Demon Hunter, if you're looking for speed leveling, I'd actually recommend a Demon Hunter over a couple other classes.
yeah.
But we're going for Inferno Clear, so it's doesn't apply.
And a few questions like about stackability and stuff. Because a lot of things you cannot test on the beta.
Right.
So how does DPS stack and stuff, and how do DPS reduction stack? Is it like multiplicity? Are there some that doesn't stack at all?
I mean, there's ways to test that with the information from the beta. Maybe not now, but we've played the beta since it's a very early stage, and at many points in the beta, there were times where you would have stacking damage multipliers, stacking damage reduction multipliers, and I mean, we have that information.
And how does that work?
There's ways to tell that. Are you looking for tips, bro?
Yeah, I'm looking for tips here.
Multiplicative. Yeah.
It's mostly multiplicative. But isn't it like the thing is that like certain class combinations with certain DPS, like when it's even if it's multiplicative, it stacks up to like a crazy amount.
Well, it depends. I mean, you only have 6 skills. It's like you mentioned, damage is a factor as well. It comes to a breaking point where do you want damage or do you want something that effective reduces your damage by 5%? Your damage taken, I mean. So, it's all relative.
Yeah. Well, I'm really wondering what's gonna happen, because like I'm also having like the people I'm gonna be playing with are top players as well, and
Yeah, bro, we've all seen your video, yeah.
and I've also done a lot of research and stuff, and yeah, I think that yeah.
Like I've said, we've done a little bit of shit talking, and basically the one thing that really amazes me is that, I mean, you want to get world first level 60, whether you get that or not, I think you have a really good chance at it. I think 70% is a little outrageous, but I think if the people have the best chance for getting first level 60, I think it might actually be you guys if you actually dedicate yourselves to the game, because the viewers don't really have a value of your dedication when you just post a video. They don't really know what kind of work you're doing behind the scenes.
Are you gonna play the Real Money Auction House?
Yeah, if you're investing the time, I think you'll get world first level 60. I think there's a good chance. But you get world first Inferno. I think we got that under control. So we'll take a look at that one. But then you mentioned after that you'll go to hardcore and get first 60 after you killed Inferno. Like, I can't even believe that you said that. Like, I don't know.
Why is that so hard to believe?
It's hard to believe because it either assumes that you think you'll clear Inferno in a matter of days, or that no one competent plays hardcore.
Why would Inferno takes, like, if I'm really honest, the way I'm looking at things is I think once we start playing and streaming it, they're gonna nerf what we're doing.
You think that's going to be their prerogative? I think their prerogative is going to be server stability.
Server stability, but I'm just saying, like, I think that like the reason why I'm confident to clear Inferno is because what we're gonna be doing is just stupid. It's totally overpowered. I also did number crunching, and it's like, yeah, it's just gonna be like, unless mobs can do 5 times the damage, we will just like running through it like it's nothing, in my opinion. I'm not sure though, but of course I cannot. Like, will you play the real money auction house?
Well, we're not going to do the buy and sell thing if that's what you mean by play. Like, what do you mean by play?
Like, will you buy gold and buy items?
To a reasonable extent. I don't think we're willing to invest too much into that, no.
So like, if someone is throwing like thousands of dollars and getting the best items from the start, like, isn't that a crazy, like a crazy advantage that is very hard to surpass?
It is an advantage, but it's not as, like, I think the people who are being very focused on that are not focused on the alternative of, knowing all there is to know about the game and being able to use that information with your teammates. Because, I was always thinking about it like a World of Warcraft player. Not so much now, but when the game had a lot of dimensions to it, when it was more or less exclusive to play at a certain level, like raiding in Sunwell, for instance, or raiding in early Wrathlichen, for instance. I'd make like a new hunter. I'd get like level 80, and then I would go into like my guild's raid and go like third on the DPS meters with like BOA gear and shit. So the ability to play the game, I think, is going to outweigh the ability to get items when it is such a complex game, and it's going to have so many factors that are going to be very difficult to imagine.
I understand. And like the spreadsheet you're talking about, is that something that is open to public, or is that something
No.
internal?
No.
It's just internal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what we got. I think if your team knew what we knew, because I'm going all in on this. I'm literally trying to change my life to the point where I can stream and make videos and people like my stuff enough that I can do it all day, every day. And I'm all in on this. And I have a huge motivational factor to make this happen. And I know that you have a similar one as well with your sharecraft and all the advantages. You have the opportunities. You have the most to benefit from getting world first among a very very select few other people. So if you guys knew the information we have, because we share the same kind of motivation, I think you guys might actually be very difficult to compete with. But just because of what you said in your video, man, we were really skeptical that we were on the same level on how we see the game.
Well, like, if you would know me more personally, you would know that, like, I'm a big entertainer. I like
Oh
to
yeah.
create
Dude,
controversy.
I've seen most of your videos. I haven't seen the ones where it's just like Tanya and the music. Like, those are okay, but there's a lot of those in a couple of years back, so I kind of skipped on a lot of those. But your videos where you do the poning, the new poning, the round the corner, I've seen all of those, man. I got your entertainment side on lock, bro.
So yeah, like, but the thing is, like, beside my entertaining self, I'm an extremely mathematical person. I like I made 300K in poker in like 1.5 years. I'm extremely statistical, extremely mathematical, and when I try to go for world first, or when I try to break world records, I do things in a very in a very outside the box approach. I really look at things, and like yeah, I try to always find solutions that no other people wouldn't think of, and that's why they always say that I'm abusing the mechanics. I'm a very like I always like
We're
to.
absolutely the same in that respect, man.
So yeah.
I mean, I went for a math major when I was going to university. I got the math thing on lock, and I mean, I am outside the box, probably as much as you are, man. Like, let me tell you a story,
Is
cool story. So you guys got World First 85. That's pretty amazing. You guys did it as a team, but they nerfed my strat. Like, they nerfed my first strat like about a month before the game came out. So if you remember in Wrath of Lich King, you could do the fishing daily and get those sealed vials.
yeah.
You know about that? Yeah, I was hoarding those.
I
They
know, I know.
actually
Like
nerfed it because the
you do know that I knew about that trick, right?
yeah.
And that you
But
could.
like it's stuff like that. I mean there's a lot of that stuff that we were thinking of. Our final strat was actually nerfed like 2 days before the release on a hotfix. We were gonna solo Halls of Lightning 5 times an hour, Kripparrian and I, and based on those numbers, our level time was about 6 hours. So I mean that's solo, bro. That's solo. So you know we're outside the box people too, man. Pretty interesting situation.
But like the thing is that like with Diablo 3, one of the biggest limitations is the fact that we don't have information about the content afterwards. So yeah, you have all the abilities on the site. You can number crunch them all like crazy, but you don't know. You don't have full information about the actual game, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's
Like,
absolutely true.
how do you get jewel crafting, by the way?
I'm sorry.
How do you get jewel crafting?
It's probably some quest that just happens later on, like the blacksmith.
Yeah, because that's some like that's the kind of stuff that yeah, like that I wonder at what level do you get jewel crafting? I guess yeah. Do you have a clue at what level?
No, I don't think. I don't really think it's a big factor. I know that the gens work from level 1, so it could literally be like level 14. I know at one point you could get it in the beta, um, but I
And
don't know
like
if you actually get the gens in the
what
beta.
about socketing? Because I haven't seen one item that it has sockets, even not the craftable gear.
Yeah, items had sockets like 2 patches ago.
Is there sockets? I haven't seen any sockets on the actual. I've never seen any
Yeah,
socket gear.
like the beta changed a lot. Like there was actually an affix for a socket, like patch like 12 or something. You could just craft like a level like 13 item, and it could get this. I don't remember what the suffix was, but it was a suffix for a socket. So yeah, definitely, bro.
Okay, that's good. So basically, okay, that's good. Well, I'm really wondering, like, because I think that the gameplay itself and the way you play is not gonna like, yeah, I actually think that doesn't affect so much the speed at which you can clear Inferno, and that it's more gonna be a gear check and yeah, like a gear check and a class, like depending on what classes you play, I think more than being really crazily skilled. I'm not sure though, but I think
Maybe,
so.
maybe. I mean, if you want a cool experience, I think you should try what we did with Skeleton King. Try to kill it with level 1s with no gear, and you'll see that the mechanics are there. Like Skeleton King on normal, people just smash the hell out of it. They don't learn anything. But when you raise the difficulty level, you learn that these bosses are very complex. And like Skeleton King, that's like Blood Raven, bro. Like it's nothing. And they put so much work, so many like it's mechanics that aren't straightforward. Like, you know, we raid World of Warcraft. We've been raiding, like, I've been with Exodus for, like, over 3 years. Been an officer for, like, most of that time. And, um, you know, Blizzard comes up with these mechanics that, like mind fucks you. Like, if you know, Spine recently on Deathwing, it's stuff like that. Like, it's so finely tuned, and there's so many different things that you can do that you're very likely to pick the wrong path and focus on the wrong idea. And there's, you know, I think that's gonna be the case because I mean, the beta seems easy, but if you raise the difficulty level, like I said, the stuff is really complicated. It's got a lot of work put into it, and you can overcome the mechanics with absolutely no gear. That's really the point I'm trying to say. So I think the skill portion, the ability to know the ability to know the abilities combined with the skill, the practice, I think that's where it's at, and that's what we're focusing on.
I'm really wondering if that's the case. Like, I'm really interested. I know that I don't like the skill to own it up, but I wonder if I will need a lot of insight in mechanics, as the game is completely different than WoW, a more slash hack and slash game. I really wonder. I'm really surprised. I'm gonna look forward to it. I thought I would think that it's a walk in the park once you clear it until like once you clear it 3 times. It's just it's simple, but yeah, maybe it's not gonna be the case. I don't know. We will see. But yeah, like is there any like do you have I'll just hear like do you have any tips? Because I've made a thread on the Diablo 3 forums to ask for like advice for people. I'm not almighty a knowledge-wise person. I always try to learn. Is there any tips you have that could give me a big advantage in like getting world first and yeah, like and getting progress?
Well, if you're talking about world first level 60, yeah, we can help you out for that. I think it might be a bad idea to not use a demon hunter, because if you've done the if you know what I mean with like the town portal banner mix up movement thing, you know what I'm talking about? Like one guy runs, people teleport to him with the banners, they teleport somewhere else. You cover a lot of the map. You get a huge advantage from one person running really fast, and the fastest person for running is Demon Hunter. So I think if you're going for world first level 60, not using a Demon Hunter is a huge mistake. So that's just my take on that.
Yeah.
If you want a pro tip.
And aside from that,
what's that?
and aside from that, is there any other tips?
I don't know, man. So I got the pro tips. I'm Kripparrian YouTube with the pro tips, and then we got Krippy with the knowledge bombs. So maybe we can have a knowledge bomb happening. You hear Krippy? Knowledge bomb
I'm here. Well, we were talking about demon hunters, and we don't have an original comp because of this stun mechanic we feel is going to be in the game as the game progresses. If you play Diablo 2, when you progress to Nightmare, stuns last half duration, and Hell, they last 1/4 duration. You can go test this with Ice Blast from a sorceress if you really want to. But in the game currently, normal mobs take 100% like stun duration. So if you blind something for 4 seconds, it lasts 4 seconds. But if you hit a champion mob, elite mob, or Skeleton King, for example, it has a 25% reduction. So it lasts 75% of its duration, so like 3 seconds. And so if we extrapolate the comparable things from Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, and we think as the difficulty advances, well, Nightmare might have a reduction in stun duration, and then champion mobs might have, so we'll say Nightmare has a 25% base for all mobs, and then champion mobs will have this 50%, and then we just keep going. Hell will have 50% normal mobs, 75% on champion mobs, and maybe Inferno will have 75%, maybe like a 90% reduction on Hell mobs, or champion mobs. So the one thing about the Demon Hunter is that they have a nice AoE stun. With their grenades, you can rune it to stun. So you're just gonna, our initial strategy for beating the game was like Cyclone Strike, stack the mobs really hard,
stun lock,
and then stun. We blind,
stack the mobs, stun them all.
we stomp for a barb stun, and then we just keep throwing stuns while we have like the wizard chain AoE. They've kind of nerfed this because we had a diamond skin strategy involved arcane orb spamming really hard and lots of crits. But since they nerfed that a little, might not work out. But that's why we really were thinking about the Demon Hunter in our group. But now that they nerfed the, what did they nerf? Or we thought about the stun mechanic as the game progressed compared to Diablo 2. We were worried about the Demon Hunter. So we think Demon Hunter is good for leveling, but later on their mechanics aren't as strong as other classes.
Yeah, because they lose their ability to stun when you're facing really tough mobs. That's what we predict.
So that was one prediction we have when comparing to Diablo 2 and seeing current stun mechanics.
And isn't like streaming the event, because like I've been also talking and seeing like isn't like streaming the event going to sabotage your ability to get world first? because
It
people.
probably does, but we honestly feel that anyone watching our stream full time is not going to be a competitor. I mean, that's really the case. I mean, the worst case is, here, I'll give you a pro tip. You just get someone to watch our stream all day, and then
Watch my stream.
you get this guy to relay pro tips to you when you're doing the content. I mean, that's going to help you guys a lot. But if you guys want to be real bros, you should just tell everyone to watch our stuff so we can get more viewers, and then everyone wins, you know?
I'm wondering, like, yeah. I'm really interested because, like I've been doing a lot of calculations myself, and yeah, like I really wonder what is, yeah. I've also worked out a lot of builds myself, and I feel like Diablo 3 is a game that is very single player oriented, and where every class can do DPS, like can actually like is a DPS class, to say it like that, and can complete the game by itself, and like the
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Blizzard has said like completing the game is completing hell. I mean, completing the game is not completing Inferno.
But the thing is that, like, I would think that that if they introduce like a game like Inferno, that you wouldn't rely on three other classes in order to complete it. So the game mechanics cannot be that hard, as it would just yeah, like as the hardest part in raiding is not the single player, but it's the group achievement. And since that part isn't available in Diablo 3, I think the fights cannot be that crazily intense. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing
Well,
something.
well, I don't know. The way we see it is like when you're a solo player, you have a kiting advantage and you have a burst advantage because when you have four players, the health scales. So you know, it may be a dynamic game where you can win off of burst and kiting, and in other cases you can win off of like brute force or stacking of certain abilities that would seem overpowered otherwise. So, because like, I mean, I don't know if you've done the hardcore four player and then the hardcore solo, but the main difference is like solo you can just like, oh, I want to kill that mob. You just fucking smack it and it's over. You know, in a four player you can't do that. You have to coordinate that, and it's much more difficult to coordinate that and coordinate the movement. I mean, I got like a huge wake-up call on that note when it came to Skeleton King last night, because you know I actually sold Skeleton King with no gear like 5 patches ago, and it wasn't even that hard. But when we were doing it yesterday, it was like impossible. Like we had to coordinate kiting and burst with 4 people, which is literally like insane because you have 30 skeletons that can two-shot you running around the whole place. So it's a very different game, but it's balanced on both fronts. That's what I like about it. But the thing is, it's like World of Warcraft. Like if you're prepared to do a 10-man and 25-man is easier, you're screwed. But if you're prepared to do a 25-man and then 10-man's easier, you just go do 10-man, no problem. So I mean, the safest way to do it is a 4-player for sure. Like no question about it.
Yeah, like I think four player is much faster. It's gonna be much faster than solo. But I'm just saying, the game is builded,
Yeah,
not as
yeah,
an
but I mean,
MMO.
I don't know. I don't know. If you play like in a public game, if you get like pretty good gear, you play a public game and do like a 4-player public game, stuff seems pretty hard because the other guys are not very good. And then you go to a solo game, you're smashing it up. And I think it's gonna be very difficult to get a very solid 4-man group, because if you're running a 4-man group and one guy is like, you know, eating hamburgers in town and the other guys are doing the work, and that's much harder than soloing. You have to have all 4 players on board, and that's going to be a very difficult thing to achieve. So that may be the winning factor. I think like they may balance it for solo. I think, you know, I went over the advantages for solo, which I think are enormous, and
Well, I'm like, the reason why I'm saying this. I don't know how much you can, like, maybe overdo all the what is it, the what is it, the overdo the, what's the word when you look into the game mechanics and stuff, overdo the
yeah. I see what you're saying.
because the
I see
thing
what you're
is that,
saying.
like, like when I was looking through it, like the stuff that is overdone is, like, yeah, when I was doing it, there was a few things that, yeah, that was like, yeah, this is stupid, this is very easy, like, yeah.
Mhm.
But I wonder, there's a lot of things like that that I wonder in the game that I don't know. Like the thing is that what about itemization? Um, the reason you guys are playing 4 class is also because of the itemization, I guess, because that was one, like if an item drops for a barbarian, like he's gonna
Yeah.
get geared up faster, and you don't have to share the loot, right?
I actually don't think that's. I mean, if we were going off itemization, I think we would use a demon hunter rather than a witch doctor or a wizard, because the barb's gonna want mini gear as well.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that you cannot test in Diablo, but you probably have already been able to test it because of earlier versions. What about
Yes,
like
that's
the
the idea, yeah.
so like everything is multiplicative, right?
No. It's not everything, but the majority of mechanics are, yeah.
Yeah. And what about like for example, I also saw that there is something like auras or something. Do they stack or how does that work?
Doesn't stack with itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
two
it's a lot of
different.
cool stuff.
But
You definitely get a big advantage for playing the beta, because basically what they've done is like, you know, it's not so noticeable recently because they've done really slow patches, and the patches that sped out has been like, you know, nothing. But early on in the beta, like, you know, patch 5, 6, 7, 8, there was like big changes. Every time they would introduce a patch, they would give you like a whole new set of abilities and a whole new number of runes. You know, they would change the system completely. So, you know, if you've played beta over the last couple of months, you know, just in general, you have a really good idea of the vast majority of abilities in the game. Like, if you're playing a barb, I think we've had almost every single ability in the beta besides like the high cooldown abilities, which are like the easiest thing to test because, you know, you just pop them. So
and about like
a lot of knowledge that there was an opportunity to get.
and what about like how does skills affect with like the same class? Do they multiplace or do they just not do anything at all?
You have to give me an example.
For example, like the let's say you have the wizard with their frost nova that increases the damage. Let's say you have 2 wizards and they would frost nova a target. Does it like the damage increase? Is it only
Yeah,
applic?
I don't think we've been able to test that one.
But like if it was if you could test it, what do you think would happen? Like if could you frost nova a target twice?
You mean for the damage? Like you want 2 wizards, they both frost nova, and the target takes the extra damage from both of them?
Yes,
That's what you're
indeed,
asking, right?
indeed.
My Skype's lagging a little bit here. I'm sorry,
Okay.
we're breaking up here.
Yeah, like can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, hello. I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, we've been like cutting in and out for like the last minute or so.
Oh, sorry. Like I can hear you
Yeah. Well,
clearly.
if I'd have to guess, I don't think it would work that way because that would promote class stacking. It's a very easy fix to discourage class stacking by making that fix, and I think they've made that step. So if I had to guess, I would think they wouldn't stack, but I don't think we've been able to test that yet.
So you haven't been able to test that with other classes either, like damage
In
increase.
terms of the damage bonus factor, no.
And what about damage?
Because like the mobs get debuffed, but the debuff that they get is a graphical debuff. They don't like it's not World of Warcraft where you hit the target and you see what kind of debuff is on your target. Like you can't really test that. You have to test that by doing a statistical example of damage on the target, and you have to find targets at the same level, and it can get really complicated to test. Even if you would, even if you had the ability to test, it'd be pretty insane. So,
Yeah, that's what I've been doing as well. Like I've been testing it myself. I've seen that damage reduction does stack. Well, does stack multiplicative, or how do you say it?
mhm. It depends. Like I said, the majority of things stack multiplicative. Yeah, it's a multiplicatively. Bam, that's the one.
But even with same classes, it also stacks multiplicative.
If it would stack, yes.
Yeah.
But like for example, you So when 2 months used dodge mantra, you only had one mantra. So in terms of the buff portion of it, they don't stack. In terms of the debuff portion of it, I don't believe we've had a chance to test it, like I said, but we don't know. We don't really know.
Yeah. But yeah, two different mantras do stack, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wonder how the game will work out because like there's a lot of things, passive abilities that you cannot even test, and that I'm like, yeah, how is this gonna work out, and how is that gonna work out? So yeah. Well, it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I wish you good luck in getting Inferno World first. I don't know, like you said, it's gonna take 2 weeks. Are you serious?
That's what, well, that guy Bastiak, he posted recently, like 2 weeks recently, that he expects he expects the best players to wipe in Act 1 for weeks in Inferno. So, I mean, if he's saying that, combined with the fact that they have deliberately made Acts 3 and 4 only for the most elite players possible, I mean, you put those two things together, these guys are not going to, like, BS you. I don't think so. I mean, they're not playing the audience, because the audience that loves hardcore material is, like, 2%. Like, I think it's actually going to be, like, incredibly hard. I mean, that's the way we see it. I honestly think 2 weeks is like a reasonable time. I see this as another WoW raid. We've been in WoW raids for years, and the hype that they're bringing into it, the mechanics, the debuffs, the buffs, the timers, everything that I'm seeing, I'm getting the same vibe. You know, they want to make this stuff as hard as possible. They're going to go to WoW. WoW is like their game for hardcore, hard-ass PvE content. So I think they're going to match it. Same opinion, same input, same balancing. So I think that's what's up with that.
I'm really wondering. Like, how can they make it hard?
Now
Like,
you understand how ridiculous I thought when you said you were gonna get like hardcore 60 after Inferno. Like I just like face palm. I was like getting all excited. It's like, oh damn.
no, not
It's
hard.
gonna be competition.
I'm not
And
gonna
then
get
you
hard.
say that, and I just like face palm real hard.
No,
So I
no.
don't know.
I'm not gonna get hardcore Inferno.
Yeah, hardcore 60.
Yeah, but hardcore 60 is easy.
Yeah, but doing it after you clear Inferno, that's outrageous, bro.
I wonder. I think Inferno is not gonna be so. I don't think Inferno is gonna be that hard. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna make it so hard that when you go outside you get just one shot all the time? I mean, it's not like there's.
Well, I think they're gonna play on Diablo 2 Classic. Like I've been playing Diablo 2 Classic up until like 2 months ago, man. And in Diablo 2 Classic, the difference between gear is absolutely insane. To get like perfect gear on a character is literally impossible. So I think you're gonna have to hit that like gear plus skill combination, and that's gonna take time. And if we can maximize the skill, the knowledge, all we gotta get is a little bit of the gear, and I think we can get that edge. But in terms of the difficulty itself, I think it's going to be a factor of time as well. Like I don't think you can just like go ahead and steamroll that stuff. I don't know. I don't see it that way at all, based on what they've said, based on what we've researched. But the game is really well balanced in terms of like damage output and survivability. Like, you know, we made the comp, it's like, yeah, no Demon Hunter, like, who brings a Demon Hunter? No, it's like really close. Like, we had to have a vote and come to a consensus, because it's not obvious. Like, all these classes are like insanely well balanced. Like 2 months ago, this is not the case, but I mean, they've got their stuff together pretty damn well since then, so, I don't know. When they have 5 classes doing like the exact same DPS with the best specs we can imagine, I mean, it makes us believe they have it as finely tuned as possible. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if we're gonna have like berserk timers on trash mobs and shit like that.
I'm really wondering how it's gonna work out. I'm really wondering how it's gonna work out. I think that yeah, like I'm wondering how it's gonna work out. I think if like yeah, I really wonder how it's gonna work out. If you say a few weeks for Inferno, maybe we should just go Diablo Hardcore 60 first, and before we do Inferno. I thought Inferno would just be a walk in the park.
You know, there's no way to tell, but that's definitely not our opinion.
Like if you play Inferno and you get like the best gear, or almost the best gear, I don't think it can be that hard. if you play with really top players.
Hmm. Well, top players is one thing. Like, we're playing with top players. A lot of people are playing with top players, bro. Like, you gotta have the knowledge. Like, top players, when they pick up a new game, they're all noobs.
No, 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 no.
You gotta have the knowledge.
Yeah, but like I've already been, yeah, yeah. I know everything. I know all the abilities. I know them all. I've been checking the runes and everything, and I've been balancing everything out. So yeah, like I know the game like my pocket, to say it like that. Although, yeah, if it's really impossible, yeah, then it's impossible. I mean, but I cannot imagine that they will just like have all mobs just insta-gipping you, and you're not allowed to get one hit, or you die in Inferno. I don't know. But yeah, you never know, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's the knowledge bomb, by the way?
Well, we try to have, like, you got like the around the corner. So I mean, we try to be a little bit creative. I got the pro tips and tricks from the Crip, and then Krippy, who's my bro. It's Keith in Skype. So I'm Kripparrian, I'm Krip, and we got Krippy, who've been best bros for 10 years. And he doesn't do the tips and tricks. He does the knowledge bombs. He drops bombs of knowledge on you, and then you bathe in the knowledge. Is what happens.
It's a work in progress. Work in progress.
Work in progress. We're working on it.
I see, I see.
We're not so entertaining. You got an edge on the entertainment on us, but we'll see about that in the future. We're doing our best.
That's good. Well, I think that it's going to be interesting to check out how it's going to work out. I thought that like, yeah, like world first level 60 is going to be easy in my opinion, compared to Inferno it seems. I didn't know that. I didn't know it would be so hard.
Well,
I'm
like
gonna.
I said, like I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. We don't know it's gonna be that hard, but we're betting on it. We're putting our money on hard. You know.
I'm gonna, yeah. If I'm gonna try out, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna go for world first 60, try out Inferno. If it's really absolutely ridiculous and outrageous, I'm just gonna go for hardcore 60, and then go back to Inferno, because yeah, like getting world first 60 hardcore is gonna be a lot of creds, and a lot of.
I think so.
So yeah.
That's high risk too. I mean, you guys gotta actually pull that off.
Y-
That's not running a lap.
Yeah, but the thing is like
a lap with two broken feet, bro.
the way I would do it is once we can grind mobs, I would just grind mobs until 60. I wouldn't
Well, I mean,
get in
yeah, but
in
I'm telling
involved.
you, man, like I did the World of Warcraft Iron Man challenge. You should check that out. But basically, it's like leveling in World of Warcraft with no gear, with no skills, with no talents, with no health, with no buffs, with nothing, no professions, nothing, and you can't die. So I mean, it's gonna be the same in hardcore because you get all those restrictions, but at the same time, other people are doing it too. If they have a head start, you have to pull off these risks, and I mean, the risk wall can be pretty high if people are starting off hardcore. I don't know. Like, if you pull that off, I'll be amazed. I'll fucking make a video to congratulate you, bro.
I'll try to get it. I'll try to. I don't think it's that hard. Like, well, maybe I'm completely wrong. If Diablo 3 is really hardcore, crazily, insanely hard, yeah, then it's we're gonna get ruffle stomped. But as far as I know, I think it's not gonna be that hard.
I'm sure you guys can get hardcore 60, but my point is, like, because other people have a head start on it, you guys are not going to be able to play in your comfort zone.
But why would they get a head start?
Well, if you're doing regular leveling first, they got a head start on you, don't they?
That's not true, man. They don't know the mechanics. That's the most stupid thing to do for them. If they're gonna do like try hardcore, I would love them to do it. They'll just die at level. They'll just die at level 40, and I'll lol at their face. Like, you need to complete the game first before you want to do hardcore.
I guess you got a point there. You got a point there, bro.
Like, if you come into a mechanic and there is a certain mob that can insta-gip you, like you're gonna cry your eyes when you're just dead.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
there are some very defensive tricks though, so it's not necessarily all like that.
yeah.
There's some ways to escape that.
Yeah, I know there is an ability that when you get yeah, the killing blow, you get healed.
Oh no, I'm talking about other stuff, but yeah, yeah.
Well, thanks for all the feedback.
We were thinking of doing the hardcore thing too if we found Inferno too easy. If we just, ran over Inferno, we're going for hardcore too. But we're not betting on that. Like I said, all our money is on hard.
It's gonna be crazy, man, because I think when we're gonna be streaming Inferno, once we hit level 60, we're gonna have more than 50,000 people watching, I think.
Yeah, it's possible. There's a big audience that are going to be curious about the game. A lot of people play World of Warcraft, don't know much about Diablo, and a lot of friends are going to play it because a lot of friends are going to get it for free through the annual pass. So, I mean, Blizzard play their cards right on the financial side. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people are going to be interested.
Is there any more tips you have to give?
Alright, bro.
I got one. If you were farming, you said you want to get to a farm mode. So you know like how
Yeah.
lower level mobs give you less experience. So if a mob is 6 levels lower than you, you won't get the bonus experience from your equipped item bonus. So if you have like the plus X per kill, so if it's 6 levels below you, you won't get the bonus anymore. So that's another little knowledge if you were going to try to do the farming thing.
Did
If
like
you didn't know that already.
didn't they isn't it like if a mob is 3 levels above you, you don't get even more experience, that it caps at level like 3 levels above you?
Yeah, 3 levels above I think is the max, 125% exp.
Yeah, indeed. So basically the most effective thing to do is to just kill the levels on your level, the mobs on your level.
I mean, I would say if you could kill the mobs 3 levels higher, you at the same pace you could kill mobs your level. I mean, it's obviously more efficient to kill the higher level ones. And if you're just going to do the mob grinding, I'm sure you've thought about this all the time, about mob grinding, like how big camps are, how they're going to respawn, like how quick you could get there with your group.
It's very important to like
all the time.
getting killing sprees and add like that additional experience bonus, because I've also been thinking about that, like the experience, like because there is certain places where you can just where mobs keep respawning and you can have like an unlimited amount of killing bonus and there is no cap. So basically,
you also gotta recall like some mobs like are worth no exp that are like summoned, and they do count to your streak, but you don't get like the bonus exp from like the streak. You get the bonus X based on the exp of the mob, pretty much you get.
Yeah.
So if you're killing mobs like in a huge streak and you have a 10,000 streak, you might only get like 5 bonus exp if it wasn't like the streak of mobs worth exp. So
Yeah.
you gotta pay attention to that.
But there is certain places that are bugged.
Yes, there are.
So that it doesn't affect those places. But the thing is, like, I even think in that regards, it would still be less effective because higher mobs gives more experience, and you need more and more and more experience. So even if you do it for 10 hours straight and you get a chunk of 1,000,000 experience, you'll only get like 10 levels, while you would have gotten maybe 12 or 15 when you do it normal. And
It's definitely an interesting concept, but we haven't been able to really plan anything like that out, and it's going to be difficult to find that out on the fly. So if someone can pull that off, that might be to great benefit.
And like what I'm also wondering, like questing, because questing and going through the content very fast, just like with World of Warcraft, is an extremely big advantage to just get the extra experience bonus all the time. Like what I was wondering is, yeah, I guess like is there, because I know there was at one point you could actually reset quests by logging off the moment you hand it in and get like redo the quest. But they fixed that, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like there is no glitch. I'm not aware of any glitches. I've tested it. The glitches that I've found, I've just reported them. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean that's our big concern. I think the first guys at 60 are going to be abusing. They're either going to be exploiting, abusing, or just finding out something very efficient. That's most like the vast majority of people are just going to miss. So, I mean, if you hit that up and you guys make it, that would be awesome. But with the sheer number of people playing, I think the chances of any one person
It depends.
getting
It depends.
getting 60 is pretty low.
It all depends on. It actually all depends on the level, like the amount of hours required to hit level 60. If the amount of hours to hit level 60 is 16, then the chances of us getting is 20% or something, or 10% even. If the amount of hours is 60 or 50, yeah, then our chances rocket sky because yeah. But I do think that
This distribution curve, yeah.
yeah
People that played that long and
yeah.
can keep conscious that long.
So I do think that I do think that it's going to be more than 15 hours. I think it's going to be more than like 40 to 50 hours game time.
Honestly, bro, I just threw that estimate out there. I
Yeah.
have no idea how long it's going to take, but I don't think it's shorter than that. At a minimum, it's like 10 hours, but as a maximum, I have no idea.
Yeah. I heard like some guy said from 59 to 60 is gonna take you like 24 hours, but I don't think that's true. There's a lot.
This is some guy. I can say that too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's difficult to go off what people say unless they work at Blizzard.
Well, the only thing I could go about is the experience curve, and like distract the higher level mobs, uh, and that's what I did. And by doing so, it's 50 to 40 hours. When you calculate in that higher level content will go slower because you cannot just insta-skip all mobs as you can in normal. In normal, you can rush through the content, and like I think it's gonna be something like the first act, maybe like 6 to 10 hours, and then Nightmare is gonna be more like 15 to 20, and then 20 to 30 hours. I think that's something how it's gonna be because it gets harder and harder. I'm not sure though. Maybe I'm.
It depends, because I'll give you another crypt thought. This is not pro tip from the crypt. It's just crypt thought. But I'm thinking, we were thinking of running through the content. Honestly, initially we had a spec for a wizard that would teleport infinitely. We're not sure if the mechanic works that way, but if it did, we had the spec, and our plan was to just teleport all over the place, only kill what we needed to kill. And if you're doing that, you can get like insane gear, because the level requirement for the gear that you get is actually much lower compared to the mobs that you're killing. So
Yeah.
you could get all this like gear that no one has by just teleporting through like hell, and then you have like boss hell drops, and then you go back like the start of hell, and you just roll your face over those mobs and get all the X. So there's gonna be a lot of different ways to play it. I don't know if it's gonna be as linear as you anticipate it to be.
If I'm really honest, I think that I think it's people that are gonna throw a lot of money at it that are gonna fucking rinse it very fast because you're just gonna have the best gear.
That might be true. That might be true. But at the same time, I think having 4 extremely good players compared to a solo player is an unbelievable advantage. And I think there's not going to be many people that play at that level that are going to invest in gear for 4 players at that level. So I don't see that being as huge of a factor.